And it also varies on servers as well. Some servers, just the way the Axion hostiles spawn is different than others. But even if you just look in the 33s or the 34s and just take a look around right now, I can see there's the shots buff. There's a whole bunch of guys with no buffs, more shots, a lot of shots. There's a couple of damage bonuses, but there's no crit chance currently up. So in order to get that, you'd have to clear out some of these regular Chrysalis guys and hope that the regular ones respawn to give you the third buff that you're missing. It's not guaranteed. They could keep respawning the blank ones. They could keep respawning more of the same ones over and over again. And it does kind of just jam things up. And even if you go look in some of the higher systems, you're probably going to see, sometimes you see some of the same stuff. There's 1, 2 buffs. So we're missing shots now. And there's shots over here, so I could get all 3 in that system. Crit chance and extra shots are definitely the priority ones. Crit chance is always the first one you get. Shots would be the second one you get. If you can get the damage one, also awesome. If you don't have a crit chance one, that's kind of hard to work around. Extra shots you could work around a little bit, because as long as you're critting all the time and getting the extra damage bonus, you can still kill stuff fairly quickly. But if you don't have crit chance, you're in deep trouble. Norwich, you unlocked your Mantis. Awesome. That would be probably the only thing I would recommend anybody spending any currency on right now would be your Mantis blueprints to get your ship and get it unlocked. Everything else you can wait on. You picked up shards to unlock Wayoon. That would have been something I would have waited on, especially because we do have this holographic baseball event coming up again this week. So we should get more of these cards to open 1 or 2 more chests here. So you might have an opportunity to get additional Ducat or Wayoon or any of their group. So before spending currency in the event store to get shards for these guys, hold off and see how many you might get out of these bundles. Yeah, if you can't get the crit chance either, then, having, whether it's Lorca or Gorkon to give you the hull breach for the extra damage as well, is also going to be problematic, to say the least. Speaking of which, where are we at? All right, 51. Okay, so let's start heading back to regular space. We're going to take a guess, and we're going to say it's going to be reset today. And if I'm wrong, well, then I'll just jump to the other system. Yeah. It always takes a while, too, in the beginning when you first get the ship. Your cargo hold isn't very good. You don't have any of the research and stuff done yet. You're just kind of trying to grind your way through stuff. And you might have to sort of sacrifice, people like to use like 5 and 4 or 5 and Ston to get extra cargo space. You might have to sacrifice that and just run 3 officers to actually do damage until you actually get a few upgrades done to the ship or get a few researches done. Obviously, make sure to put La on below deck to give you a little extra boost. But the other thing I've currently switched off on, I'm no longer using Marcus. I switched to Kang because because of the way the things are spawning now, if you come into the system and you get your buffs right away, you're primarily just hitting the apex then after that. And in 5 minutes, before my buffs wear off, I get about 60 to 70% of my cargo full. So I don't need to hit a lot of the explorer types. I'm able to, with a system to myself, or just one other person, come in and knock out just a lot of the interceptors. So switching to Kang greatly improves your damage output on these guys, especially because you're going against the combat triangle, which also changes things a little bit for you there and how much hull damage and stuff you take. Check the stats of the Apex. They're explorers. You're saying because they have more shield deflection? They do have more shield deflection. They have a lot more shield deflection. Interesting. That's weird, because when I switched to Kang, I was doing so much better. That's weird. Why would an interceptor have shield deflection like that? Okay, interesting. I didn't think to look at that before. Their mitigation would still be based mainly on dodge. Well, let's go repair and we'll check that out too. Right now we got to get some crews up and running and get out there for our Swarm Sunday. But we'll check that in just a second. All right, first things first. We need Pike, we need Spock, and Miss Jayla. You assume it's there for the combat triangle bonuses since the Mantis is an explorer. The Mantis is the battleship. It's basically an explorer with the interceptor tag to make it stand out more. It's interesting, obviously, that they would do it like that. Just don't... We'll just double check exactly. Because we can do it in-game just by scanning one. This is a fun little exercise, right? Alright, so if we're doing... Hang on, below deck ability, I need La'an back there. And if we're putting Ston in the passenger seat, alright, we'll check with Marcus on the Mantis. Because it should show you. Nope, it's not going to show me. Well, I guess we'll just have to do a couple of experiments then. And see which way worked out better. I'm sure you guys probably have done some of these, but we've got the time. It's basically a stats display. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have a higher mitigation of one thing, and you know, a certain type of ship has a higher penetration of that, that's what the combat triangle is based around. You know, battleships have high shield penetration. Explorers have high shield shield defense, so it offsets that and negates that bonus, bringing them back down a little bit. But we'll do a run with each of them, and we'll just compare some battle logs and the damage and the mitigation percentages. It's the easiest way to do it. Um, and I'm sure I'm going to be surprised by the results. But you're right. Uh, Never thought to scan them before and actually take a look at the differences between them. So we're all learning something new here this morning. Yeah, there are a few researches that obviously wouldn't come into play. Um, Battleship versus Explorer, like some of the away team mitigations. Why would you scan it? Never. Well, exactly. Um, but yes, like certain ships, like the away team researches that give you a specific bonus against a specific ship type. Those obviously would not come into play here because of the ship type. I'm not a battleship beating up on an explorer. I'm a battleship fighting an interceptor. I would also screw up your Strange New Worlds crew rollouts because if you're not hitting explorer types, Spock isn't going to, or Ortegas or whoever, I think it's Ortegas, wouldn't really have any benefit there. But just from a mitigation standpoint, we'll get all three buffs right here. And nice. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And hopefully they auto-activate like they are supposed to. Hey, there's one. Awesome. That's why Strange New World. Yeah, exactly. They're because you're hitting two different hostile types. Even though they have the same statistics, because they are two different hostile types, one of your officer bonuses isn't working. So. Oh. Also want to say good morning and thank you for being here to everybody else who's just joined the channel recently. Looks like we're up to a larger number of viewers, which is great. Thank you guys all for being here and spending part of your Sunday with me. If you missed it at the top of the show, we were talking a little bit about this. We'll be doing a couple holiday giveaways this week. Giving out some Amazon gift cards, which you can then use yourself if you want to purchase an iTunes or a Google Play gift card to then purchase something in-game. You can just make the swap yourself, but I think it's easiest to just give out some can't think of the word now. Amazon. Hey, Amazon. Yeah. So we'll be doing a giveaway on Tuesday. Oh, let's see if I can get over there and get him in time. Nope, that guy's going to get him. All right, so we'll go the other way. I'll be doing one on Tuesday during my Tuesday evening show. Everyone who is live in the chat will get one entry into the raffle. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you will get a second entry into the raffle, doubling your chances to win the gift cards. It's just my way of spreading a little holiday cheer, saying thank you to everybody for being here all year with us. Thank you, Finney, for the follow. Hopefully you'll make it back on Tuesday for that. Also, I was invited back to making a guest appearance over on BHD8 Gaming, their stream on Friday night. So I'll be joining Black Half Dan and the crew, hanging out with them for a little bit. And I think I'm going to give away another gift card during their show too. Just as another way of saying thank you to Dan and his group and his audience for their support. So Tuesday night we got one going on. Friday night we got one going on. Maybe next Sunday morning we'll do another one. We'll just see how old Santa Tiberius is doing. So. All right. So we're going to wait for our buffs to wear off because I don't want to have to kill extra things if I don't need to. But we're already up. We're on our first set of buffs, and just because of the ability to kill the apexes here, we're already a third of our way to max cargo. Oh, looks like we got a hostile hunt for the Battle Pass event today. Looks like that rolled over. Okay. So we've got a hostile hunt for that. Assignment hunter still going on. Recruit still going on. Ticket events. We should have gas mining. Yep. That's for Bashir. Excellent. What's the DAX one? It is the fleet development, which is to give out helps or make alliance contributions or start regular armadas. Well, that's easy enough to do. Solo, Exchange, Borg, and Doomsday armadas do not score. Okay, so it's just the regular ones. And then the Eclipse event should give out Kira shards, which I don't care about because, well, quite frankly, I already have her unlocked and she's not that good. Her below deck ability is good for PvP, but I don't do as much PvP anymore. So I'm not super urgent to try and tier her up or anything. Done event in 30 seconds. Yeah, if you have stuff parked overnight, that was a quick and easy event, right? All right, so let's go to our... Also, make sure we start our faction. We're only doing Fed today because I'm really close to locking out Fed champion. I think I only need like 20 million. Just doing it for the event store currency. It is a little bit extra event store currency for sure. No doubt about that. Where are we at? 27 million. Okay, 27 million. That's not bad. Oh, looks like my buff started wearing off. Well, let's grab crit percent again real quick. I have the shots. Damage is right there, so I might as well just take it. All right. Yeah, they've been giving out a lot of event store currency, though, so there's certainly plenty of opportunities to pick up some things. I'm sure once the chip events expire in the next day or two, then we'll get our final updates to the event store on Monday or Tuesday, because I'm sure there's probably a couple things from that currency that they're going to move into the regular event store. But I think they want people to make sure that they use the chips first before they put, you know, the Salvager or the Cardassian Disruptor in the regular event store. That way people don't have to submit tickets like, I accidentally used the wrong currency. Is it still too late to get, I wanted to use this, and or something like that. So they're going to leave them probably where they are, and then maybe we might get, like, the Salvager refits might also become available with the regular event store currency after the chips expire. Maybe. Or maybe they just didn't have time to do it on Friday before leaving for the weekend, and they'll take care of that Monday afternoon. And then we can put out a video going through the event store. We'll do a deep dive, kind of go through a little bit of everything, because there's, especially with the officers this time around, there's a lot of officers to fill up the strike teams. There's 6 officers potentially that people are going to want to try to acquire. And, you know, doing some values in the shards with that. Plus then you also have Odo, who's really only available through the event store. And as we saw, he's not going to be cheap if you want to acquire him, because he's 120 shards. So for 500,000 currency. Would I use the remaining chips on a salvage even if it only gets you halfway there? Yeah, I wouldn't save those. I wouldn't save those chips at all for anything. So if I had them still, I would either go for, and if you got your Enterprise or whatever, and you're like, either go for a second salvager ship or go for the Cardassian disruptor, and then just hope that maybe not this event store, maybe in 3 or 4 months the next event store, or maybe they'll bring another event back, but at least then you'll already be halfway there to unlocking it. I would probably go for the disruptor more than the second ship refit, because the possibility by the time it comes back around, you may not still be using that ship anymore. Like, you may have graduated to the next class of ship, but the disruptor affects all your ships forever going forward, so that one will still be used. Hey, we guessed right. It was reset. So that would be my recommendation. Yeah, that or materials. Yeah, if you already got the disruptor, then I'd pick which one of the G3 epics you think you're likely to keep the longest, based on what your career path is, or if it's the only one you have. Like, if you only have an Enterprise, well, then get it for the Enterprise. If you have multiples of those ships and you're like, well, I'm probably going to be going, when I go to 42, I'm probably going to want to get a Valdor, so that might take my Enterprise out of the rotation, maybe. Or I might use this more often then, and just try to plan ahead a little bit when you're picking out which salvager ship refit to get. You have the Valdor already, so yep, Augur would make sense then, especially because the G4 battleships are just hard to maintain. The building upgrades require so much ore from 42 to 46, both uncommon and rare, in huge numbers. So trying to spend that on a ship and still try to make progress upgrading and pushing ops levels is very difficult to do without spending. All things are possible through cash, right? You have developed it. Today's event included a build amalgam event that rewards Dabo. They already got rid of it. For a second, that amalgam event was a fun glitch. I did not see that. I don't recall seeing that pop up when we were just scrolling through the events, so I guess it's already gone. Anomalous phenomena, threat from beyond. Yep, already gone. So, yep, that was an interesting little, we'll call it a snafu, right? Because that's really how things seem to work around here. Why are you not back at base yet? Ore's horrible all the way to 50. Oh, good to know. That's true. I mean, they do keep making you upgrade your vaults and your generators and stuff along the way. Plus, Ops takes a huge amount of ore, and I think the Academy does too. Booper still uses his auger to grind in Dominion space. It's a good ship for it. Lots of hull health, good armor. All right, but we were looking at our Apex hostiles here with this crew set up and with all 3 buffs active. Let's just find All right, so let's just look at our average shot right here. We did 54 million damage. It mitigated 34 of that. 34,390,692, 542,880,67. It mitigated 63%. That's with Max Marcus. 63.3. We'll just double check that on one of the other ones. It should be the same, but you know, different weapons sometimes do have different mitigations. %63.3%. Okay. Also very cheaply to repair. Yep. Was the amalgam exactly a year ago? I don't recall when the amalgam came out, to be honest, when that was added. The Ops 50 building was 32,000 uncommon and 10,000 rare and 750 days. Yeah, I know the timer on them gets ridiculous as well. All right. So we were looking at 63.3%. And we're just going to... Oh, he's on an away team mission? Well, not anymore. And we didn't even crit. That's just... Now, the other thing about switching these two around... So Marcus, this could also just be a thing I'm noticing too. Marcus just has higher defense, and just switching Kang and Marcus, I'm flipping my attack around. So that may also be why I'm noticing more, like even if it's not helping with the mitigation, maybe I'm just noticing more of a damage output because it's a significant increase in just attack value. 16,000 going up to, what, 25, almost 26,000, so it's almost 10,000 more attack. Change in this bonus. And maybe that's what I'm noticing the difference of. Maybe it has nothing to do with the mitigation. It just has to do with I'm just doing more damage. But we'll go check it out. Back to the 39s. Let's repair this. Let's go to the refinery. Disco refinery. Get our speed ups. Limited time officer event, so that's 360 to promote an officer. Okay. And then a station event. Alright, so those are all independents. Independents. Sulu's not. I don't have... Please hold. I need a command badge. We're starting to run low on those things too. Promoting officers also gives points for the Deep Space Nine recruiting event, so that's why I'm also trying to do those, because that was worth 1,000 points in that event, the recruitment season. All right. Well, hello, Caravis. welcome on into the show. You watch all my videos? Excellent. Thank you very much for watching those. For those of you Stream Elements, they just throw the YouTube link up there. I've been making videos on YouTube for about 2.5 years now, so there's plenty of things for a variety of ops levels in there, including some explanations on just some of the basic mechanics of the game, how things like the combat triangle, officer synergy, how armadas and stuff work, how to acquire the Stella and, grind it up and use it, to things like crewing for incursions, for base defenses, and other high-level mechanics, event store, opportunities, things in the game like the elite faction recruit things that are just garbage that you should absolutely avoid at all costs, and some other fun conversations and things we've had along the way. Alright, let's get our 3 buffs up and running. Which one did I think I didn't get shots, which is right there. Yes. I did the best Stella video you've seen. Well, it's just so nice to be appreciated. Thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot. I tried to, I know my videos are longer than some of the other content creators because I like to try and take my time and just walk you through it instead of just, regurgitating a whole bunch of information at you all at once and you're just like, wait, hang on, what? Then we got to go back and watch stuff over again. I like to try to take my time and go through stuff. I like to try and pull up other resources, kind of explain the math sometimes behind stuff, the timing of things. Thank you for the follow, Caravis. I appreciate that. You need 2 Stellas and 2 Meridians, and this month is the best time to sort it out. Just make sure you get your free Stella through the Rogue faction store first. You have to grind out the first one for free before buying the second one through the event store. Once you buy one through the event store, the one in the Rogue faction store goes away. You can no longer get it for free from grinding and turning in the credits to get the ship blueprints. Once you have your first Stella, that option goes away, and the game doesn't care how you got that first Stella. If you buy it from the store, if you trade in event store currency to get it, or you complete the process through the Rogue faction store, as soon as you have that first Stella, that's it. It switches off. So alright, so we'll get a couple kills here. And while I'm flying over to the next one, we'll just double check a battle log here. So we were at 63.3% was the mitigation. I feel like I'm just taking, maybe I'm killing it faster because my attack value is just higher. I mean, we're still hitting 52. Debt mitigation is a lot lower. I can see that right now just looking at it. 24574 divided by 58242,559. 42.1%. Just simply switching Kang in for Marcus dropped their mitigation 20%. So even though this ship has much higher shield deflection, it is mitigating a lot less damage, potentially because it thinks it's an interceptor, so it's trying to calculate its mitigation based on its dodge, and Kang is lowering its dodge by increasing my accuracy. It's a 20% difference. That's interesting. I mean, the proof is right there in the pudding, right? So swapping out crews, especially now that you've got 3 interceptors in the system, you kill a couple explorers real quick early where you have the battleship, you know, basic penetration available to give you the bonus. And then using Kang to give you the bonus over the interceptors, you're going to kill stuff a lot faster. So this new setup they have, as long as you can as long as, you know, if you have a system sort of isolated to yourself or maybe with one other person and you can routinely pick off the interceptors, swapping out Kang for Marcus seems like the much better way to go.